You kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds. And when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me.
Welcome in, everybody, to Sim Racing Media tonight. The drivers of the ECR NextGen League take on Atlanta for the Jimmy Granger Ford 251. I'm Mike Timoni up in the booth. Joined with me, as usual, is Shane Cochran. Shane, man, how's it going?
It's going great. You know, it's Saturday night, back with the Elite Cup Racing League here in the NextGen cars. We're at Atlanta. Atlanta's got a little bit of everything these days, right? It's got the drafting, kind of like a Daytona. It's got tight turns and tight turn exits like Charlotte. You can save some fuel in the pack if you need to. It's got a unique pit road entry everyone's going to have to remember. And as always with some of these drafting tracks, we've got this dog leg that just tempts you to dive down, try to cut it short, but you got to watch out for that so you don't get penalized by the stewards.
Yeah, definitely something a little more super speedway-ish after last week's Texas Motor Speedway oval there that Dwayne Furtick was able to bring home the victory. Kristen Bailey was second. Tyler Burton rounded out that top three. So that's where they finished last week. This week, you know, it is Atlanta. They've been here 3 times before, so we have a little data we can fall back to. But right now, Stan Carnathan is sitting on the provisional pole with looks like one driver, Andrew Chapman, but I believe he is ineligible to qualify this week, if I'm not mistaken. Should just about be ready to wrap up qualifying. They are less than a minute from that. Oh, like he just doesn't want to. We'll go trackside here in moments as they transfer over into the race session and get this started in the afternoon. Right now it is early morning sim time. As you can see, the sun just beginning to peek over the horizon.
Yeah, the parking lot's looking a little empty. I guess it is early morning.
Yeah, there we go. Jump into the race session here. We'll let these guys start to get in their rides, and we'll go trackside. We got Stan Carnathan going to start on the pole. Tyler Burton just to his outside. Kyle Diaz and John Osborne are going to start in row number 2. Doug Denise and Pete Walsh, row 3. Adam Boughton and Anthony Ludy in row 4. Row 5, Aaron Miller and Michael York. Kristen Bailey and Michael Carter are going to make up row number 6. Row 7, Robert Roth and Justin Hendry. Rob Mooney and Kane Lee in row number 8. Starting 17th is Kent Mueller, Aaron Spear just to his outside in 18th. Row 10, Ryan McCall and Christopher Roth. We got Dwayne Furtick and the race sponsor Sam Batwell back here in row number 11. Row 12 is Michael Crago Jr. and Bradley Rivers. Jonathan Cogswell and Gary Nash are going to start 25th and 26th. And Andrew Chapman joined the field now, starting 27th, the only driver not to put down a qualifying lap.
And if you haven't already noticed, the drivers running some Major League Baseball schemes tonight. Got a lot of teams represented. The Savannah Bananas there on the 06. If you haven't seen any YouTube clips of them, you're going to want to look into that. Pretty entertaining, almost like a Harlem Globetrotters of basketball transferred over to a baseball team.
Yeah, it's definitely something to watch. If you think baseball is a little boring, go check them out. That definitely adds some entertainment value. But we got Stan Carnathan and Tyler Burton up on the front row. Last time they were here, Kent Mueller was able to bring home the win. This season, or this race, he's going to start back here in 17th.
Yeah, it looks like we have a delayed start here. Not sure if we had trouble with some drivers getting lined up or something, but we're going to go around one more time before we get started.
The only other driver in the field to have a victory here is going to be that 26 machine of Kyle Diaz. Well, the good news is we're not going to have anybody cutting through the grass on the initial start here.
Yeah, I think that really caught Colin Bollinger last week. Got caught with a wheel in the grass, derailed his race right from the beginning. We'll be hoping to keep it clean here at Atlanta.
I don't see him in the race, so
Oh, no.
maybe he took this week off. Don't see him on the channel. They're saying he wasn't going to be here, but things happen. But we are going to roll here to the green flag. ...163 laps, 251 miles, 70% fuel, and 4 sets of tires in the pits. Pace car makes that left-hand turn. Dan Carnathan with the button as they head through the Geico restart zone. And we are green here in the Jimmy Granger Ford 251.
Yeah, I think patience is going to be the name of the game here early. A very long race, a lot of time to get aggressive later. But with everybody packed in so tight, you do not want to cause a big wreck and collect a large part of the field early on. You know, at least save it for the last lap coming to the flag.
Well, that's the thing about Atlanta. You do have that super speedway type race, but it's relatively narrow compared to like a Daytona or Talladega. There's to see them almost getting to that outside wall as Stan Carnathan goes up in front of like Adam Boughton up there on the top side.
Yeah, it really forces you to use your tires more than you would at a Daytona or Talladega, and so we'll see. These cars will be a pretty big handful about halfway through the run. Again, you mentioned we're 70% fuel here with ECR. I'm expecting the fuel window to be 43 to 46 laps or so. And that's if you're racing. If you're getting the pack in a comfortable spot, you can probably save some significant fuel here, maybe 4 or 5 more laps over the course of a run.
Yeah, it all depends on how much you're running. If you're, kind of back in the pack a little bit, you might be able to save a little bit of fuel and, stretch it out a little bit, or save your tires and kind of make a little run later as the race goes along here. But right now, it doesn't look like anybody's pulling any punches as they are flying up front. Gary Nash off the pace, back in the back. Looks like that inside line's a little bit more lined up than the other side.
Just took a quick glance back at Nash. You mentioned was a little bit off the pace. I think there's a handful of drivers having some connection issues, a lot of blinking in the back, and I think he backed off to avoid maybe getting caught in a blinking accident and lost the draft. in doing so.
I think you're probably right. I heard several drivers talking kind of in practice that there's a lot of connection type issues, which is not something you want to have at a drafting track. Bailey just went to the high side.
Yeah, the high side really losing momentum here.
I don't know what happened there because Bailey pulled out and was right in line with that outside lane, but now all of a sudden they are going backwards and backwards in a hurry.
Yeah, I think that's going to be something to put in your notebook for later, that the outside line was able to keep up for about 7 laps on fresh tires, and then they started to struggle here as got another driver jumping up to lead that outside lane. 5 of Michael York. See if he can lead that line back to the front.
You can see him trying to get down there, side draft as hard as he can to try and pull that inside line back to him. The top 2 drivers, though, Kyle Diaz, Robert Roth, have kind of got out to a car length and a half advantage here over both lines, but they're not really staying lined up either.
Yeah, in my experience, the only car that's really comfortable holding the bottom is going to be the leader, because they have so much clean air and extra downforce. And it can be a challenge to hug that line when you're up behind somebody, especially when you're really close trying to give them a push.
And I think that might be kind of the problem with that outside line, watching them go through the corners here. It looks like they get almost fanned out more than that bottom line does. And that's where the bottom line is kind of driving away. As you can see there, Michael York kind of went a little bit higher than Tristan Bailey. Bailey not able to stay right behind him and help push him along here. And then they fan back out again, as it looks like Stan Carnathan kind of goes almost to the wall there.
Carnathan and Bailey, a close moment there. I think for a second the 24 was going to go around him, and then thought better of it rather than going 3 wide there on entry.
Ryan McCall's running a baseball scheme. Usually he's all decked out in rapid fire pizza. He has the Orioles on there.
Big fan of the Oriole colors. Wasn't a huge baseball fan as a kid, but I grew up around the time Cal Ripken was breaking all those records, and we were cheering him on. So love seeing that Oriole orange out there. Now Michael Carter tries his turn to lead that outside lane. It sure looks like they're working hard in the top lane, and it just isn't quite paying off.
Yeah, they seem to want to be as fast as that inside lane. They just can't quite get it figured out here. Michael Carter trying to lead that outside line now. Kent Mueller up there as well.
Yeah, we're really starting to see comers and goers at this point. Most of the people in the top 5, top 8 are all up at least 10 positions.
I would say
The exception being Kyle Diaz, who's, started 3rd, so he can't quite get up 10 positions from where he is.
one pulls down, lets everybody pass by. But I didn't see anything that really happened to Rob there. It looked like he just maybe got pushed out of line, shuffled out of line a little bit, and back to the back he went. Now that outside line's coming to the front. This is a little loose there for Mueller. And speaking of loose, let's see if we can go back and see what happened to Rob real quick. Doing all right. Maybe. Yeah, floats up there a little bit.
Yeah, it didn't look like any contact, but he cuts down on the apron just a little bit, and rear tires try to kick out on him.
I didn't think I saw anything really egregious happen when he was driving there, but
yeah, as we mentioned, we're now about halfway through the fuel run. Tires are starting to wear out. We're going to see who was taking care of them early on, and maybe who's going to get loose like we just saw Rob do and Mueller there the lap before.
Yeah, Carter and Mueller got clear and moved down in front of Tristan Bailey. Aaron Spear also followed him down, so those three went from the top back down to the bottom, so that bottom line is once again out in front. Tristan Bailey leading the high side. But last couple times he's been out there on the front of that outside lane, they haven't really been able to go anywhere. It's kind of stuck where they were at, but maybe since they're a little bit closer, they'll be able to close in.
Sure feels like the speed is picking up, or at least the urgency. We've still got a long race to go, but you can only stare at one guy's bumper for so long before you're thinking, hey, I want to get around this guy.
Yeah, they were kind of talking about that on the Dale Junior download, where you're following a guy for so long. Do you ever think about their sponsor? Like if you follow a guy for 150 miles, like what do you think? Like, into the outside wall goes, looks like Stan Carnathan.
Yeah, we're seeing cars get loose. We've seen the 24 there get tight. Again, he was right up, tucked behind Bailey. Not a lot of air on the nose. He can get away from you. Now we're seeing that low line kind of break out again. Everyone looks like they're trying to get down there, with the exception of Carnathan. He's riding the wall with Michael York right behind him.
Yeah, Carnathan seems to like that high line. He did it last week as well. Just kind of found a happy place out there. But brushed the wall a couple times so far in 26 laps, but he's still staying up there. He's got a little help behind him, but everybody else went down to the bottom, and that bottom line is just moving right along. They're about a couple tenths off of the fastest lap of the race, but they are coming up on, looks like the back of Gary Nash here.
Yeah, I'm expecting him. He'll probably stay high, let the leaders go by. But if you're in that second lane, you better be ready when he gets there.
Yeah, it looks like he's trying to stay out of the way. As of right now, though, that second lane isn't going fast enough to cause any problems at the moment. But they might be catching him at almost the wrong time here. That's 3 wide back there as well.
Hopefully he can tuck in here somewhere. You know, he isn't slow. He just lost the drafter. We got a car going. Oh, sliding up in the wall. It's our first rapid fire pizza yellow flag of the night.
Yeah, it looked like Christopher Roth kind of got spun down the track, came back up, and that is what caused the issue. Let's see if we can take a look from the chopper. Oh, a little touch there from the 90. Back to take a look. Ainley kind of saw there. Happens in front of him. He's driving. He thinks he's okay, and then 94, 81, 15.
It just looked like a perfect storm. One guy getting loose, another guy trying to give him a push. Wasn't ready to check up, and then once you're down on the apron and you're going that fast, you're kind of just hanging on for dear life. There's nothing you can do to keep from coming back up.
Not at all.
Didn't look like anyone had devastating damage. Hopefully everybody can get some tape on there, hit it with the sledgehammer, whatever you need, straighten it out.
Yeah, I think the only one that might is going to be this 81 here. A little bit on that left front there, but be too bad. Race off the pit road, won by Michael York.
But yeah, it's kind of like we expected. You know, around 20 to 30 laps into the run, the tires do start to give up, and we saw some guys getting tight, some guys getting loose. And with this close racing and almost bump drafting here at Atlanta, that's bound to cause a problem eventually.
Yeah, especially when you're, I imagine we're going to see a lot of the incidents happen either coming to the start-finish line or just past it. And when you're starting to cut those corners, car gets a little loose, you touch the apron just a little bit, and that's kind of what's going to send you. Or if you have to check up just, for the car in front of you, that's going to lead to the accordion effect that we kind of saw here and there.
Yeah, you know what it reminds me of is a much smaller track, Phoenix. When if you're going to cut the dogleg at Phoenix, you kind of have to be deliberate and get your whole car down there quickly. And, we're not allowed to do that here at Atlanta. But when you see guys get just a little bit of a wheel down there, just one wheel or maybe both left sides, it seems to get them loose just like that dogleg in Phoenix does.
We're going to be completing 31 laps. So not quite a full fuel run here.
Yeah, I think if the tires can hang on, this should set us up for a, let's see, a 2-stop strategy. Should make it from here on green. I don't know if I want to wait that long for tires, though.
Yeah, tires are going to be important, especially the way we saw him sliding around. Pace car is in restart zone, and Michael York down and away. Looks like he got a little loose there. Kyle Diaz is going to slide in behind him, and Aaron Spear behind him. Once again, everybody tried to get down to that inside lane. That outside lane is going nothing but backwards here, and Michael Carter is leading that charge.
Yeah, the driver kind of catching my eye right now is Jonathan Cogswell in the 84. Started 25th. He's up in the top 10 right here. Been moving forward all race. Michael Carter there on his outside. Nice Chicago White Sox scheme is, oh, the 5 gets up, makes it 3 wide.
Like Michael York tried to go out to lead that outside line, slid up across the nose of Michael Carter, wound up making it 3 wide, but they fall back in line. No real harm so far.
It's always a decision you have to make when you're leading a line here at Talladega, or and you're drafting. You see someone jump out to say, "Hey, I'll lead." You have a split second to decide: do I like that, or am I just going to split the middle and let them go?
Yeah, we've seen that a few times in some of the leagues that we broadcast. There'll be a guy who's leading that or second in row line on the inside, see that outside line start to come up, and then he goes to pull out thinking he's going to get a push from him, and then all of a sudden that outside line just goes 3 wide, and you're stuck in the middle going backwards and lost a ton of track position.
So we see one driver after another try to get out to that outside lane. The 59, Robert Roth tried it, and they said, no, thank you. You're going to put him in the middle.
Yeah, Furtick running there. Looks like he's running the Yankee scheme on that high line, but
oof, got a little scared there. Looked like Roth was going to come up into him. Checked up into the wall just a little bit.
I think that's exactly what happened. Furtick decided he was going to take evasive actions and back out of that spot there. And he'll go back down to the inside.
And a couple unlucky moments there in a row really ruined the outside lane's momentum, and almost completely gone at this point.
And Carter's just kind of out there by himself. He'll have a chance to get in line if he wants to, about 4 cars back right now, but single filed out here in the ECR NextGen League. As they're single filed out, let's go ahead and step aside, take our first commercial break so you can hear from their sponsors, and we'll be back with more green flag action here on Sim Racing Media. Welcome back, everybody. You didn't miss anything, but they decided that they wanted to go side by side again, and now you got Kyle Diaz and Aaron Spear working the front row. Kristen Bailey sliding up almost to that outside wall. Like it might hurt that inside or that outside line just a little bit, but Stan Carnathan is pushing Kyle Diaz here. On the outside, pushing Kyle Diaz now to go a little bit faster.
Ooh, snagged the wall. Looked like that was Caton Lee and Anthony Ludi both getting into it.
Almost like they almost followed each other up there. Definitely have more of that accordion effect through the front stretch than we do almost anywhere else here.
Oh, we got a car in the wall hard.
Caution's going to be brought out.
I saw one car really hit hard, and then another car right behind them hit. A few more tagged the wall in the front stretch as they avoided it.
What happened here? Oh.
Oh, a 94 straight into the wall. Adam Boughton.
That looked like some severe code issues here.
Oh. Yeah.
After the fact that the 94 went into the wall, but at 88 of Gary Nash. Take another look at it real quick. You can see the 62 getting to the 11, kind of, and then all of a sudden, like, they don't even touch.
Yeah, that was one of those Jedi wrecks, I think. Just pushed him right into the wall from 10 feet away. Some really hard contact for a few guys. Looks like Nash has that meatball flag. He's sitting on pit road. Boughton and Boutwell still on pit road for extended stops. Yeah, I don't know what's worse, knowing that somebody put you in the wall or knowing that nobody put you in the wall and you still went in there.
Yeah, that was crazy, but, you know, like I said, we've been hearing the guys complain about the connection issues that they've been having.
Yeah, I believe the 40 car of Doug Denise has been the driver facing the most blinking. I heard a couple drivers say, hey, if you're going to blink that bad, at least stay in one lane. Always tough when you you look forward to your league race all week. You get in practice, you get in lined up, start driving, and everybody's telling you you're blinking. It's a bit of a heartbreaker.
Yeah, it definitely is. We got Kyle Diaz going to the high side. Stan Carnathan down on the bottom. Tristan Bailey, Aaron Spear, Kane Lee, Aaron Miller, Justin Hendry, Anthony Ludy, Michael Carter, and Robert Roth are the top 10.
Green flags in the air again. Diaz, really no push behind him. Bailey gets up behind Carnathan. Diaz going to slide down on that inside, just in front of Kane Lee in the 38. And just like that, that inside lane is rolling once again.
I definitely need to watch about mid-pack is where the fresh tires are probably going to come to fruition here, as about the top 13, 14 drivers did not come down pit lane, but that outside line is all stacked up here. Like behind Aaron Spear up there. Everybody kind of got stacked up just a little bit.
Got 4 baseball cars there lined up. Anthony Ludi with the Cleveland Guardians. Looking good out front. See this. I believe that's the Cincinnati Reds, Chicago Cubs, and the White Sox.
Yeah, they did say it was MLB night, but this 47 here decided to put some softball on there for his family that does that.
You also see that Jimmy Granger Ford there on his car as well, sponsoring tonight's race.
They're all over the track, 3 and 4 wide, about mid-pack. Savannah Bananas machine, that 06 of Tyler Burden. Didn't pit, last came down pit lane on lap 29. Still hanging on just outside the top 15 right now.
Yeah, it seemed like, just a lap or two ago we were talking about Anthony Ludi in the 95. All of a sudden he's dropping to the back. Looks like he got a little loose in turn 3.
It looks like after he tapped the wall there with Kane Lee, he kind of went the wrong direction. Kane Lee's still up here though, inside the top 4. Fast running driver with fresh tires is going to be Ryan McCall, running P11 right now.
And we haven't seen those fresh tires march to the front as fast as I would have expected.
And they're almost, well, now there's a 30 lap pressure tires-ish, 22 lap pressure tires.
Yeah. So again, put that in your notes for that final run of the day. Tires wear out after about 10 laps. They get worse at 20. Fresh tires don't come straight to the front if you give up too much track position. Also showing the 10 car of Aaron Miller as a black flag and is on pit road. Not sure what happened to him. Now, not only are we single file, but that front pack is really gapped. The cars back behind them from 9th on back.
Yeah, they definitely are. He said that Anthony Ludi was towards the front. Let's see what happened to him a couple laps ago.
Yeah, he's getting a good push from the 96 and maybe just gets in a little hot.
Oh, almost sideways.
Yeah, when you get in the wall, you got to put so much wheel into it to get back off the wall that can send the car going around.
That was a heck of a save there.
It really was. Cost him some track position, but hey, that's a lot better than getting damage or piling up a few of your friends here on the track.
94 is back out on the track after getting his extensive damage repaired. Roth back to the back. To see that almost 1.5 second gap that they have so far.
Yeah, I can't. It doesn't really look like either pack is faster than the other, but there's just a big gap there right now. John Osborne leading that second pack. You know, this is you see these guys too wide, kind of fanned out. This is one of those moments where if you're the 81, you're just saying, guys, just get in line, just push me, we'll catch them. Stop fighting amongst ourselves.
Yeah, it looks like they can get 4 cars hooked up fairly well. They should be able to make up some time. But right now, the last lap by Osborne was a 30.66 to Stan Carnathan's 30.44, so they are still pulling away at this moment. They were almost even. So when they stay in line, they seem to be doing fairly well.
You know, Ryan McCall is sure pushing as hard as he can into the bumper of John Osborne to try and get this line moving.
Yeah. That's got to be one of the hardest things about pushing is you're not necessarily going to run the line that you feel the most comfortable with. You're going to run with whatever the leader has. And if he's running a little bit different, it's harder to stay in that line because you know that you're faster at a little different spot.
Absolutely, and you know the first 3 cars really set the mood for the line. The second car wants to be right on that lead car's bumper, and the third guy kind of has to play it a little safer. He doesn't want to get into the second car when the front 2 are kind of in contact because that can get them all squirrely and loose. You kind of want to wait till the second car falls back, then give him a bump so he can get right back to work. Rob Mooney in that Nesquik car is the 4th in line. It doesn't look like he can quite get there to give a bump like he'd really want to.
No, it looks like Cogswell was trying to get him to go a little bit, but yeah, there's 3, almost 4 different lanes in this backpack. If we go back up front, you'll notice that at least the first 3 are fairly similar all the way around the track. There's a little, slight difference here or there, but you have to do that anyway because we all know how fast those cars can blow up.
Yeah, if you're driving in this front pack, you're cruising. You're saying, hey, this is great. This is almost like a little bit of insurance. If I have a slow pit stop or anything like that, I've got a buffer back to that next group. And if I have a, kind of a really bad pit stop, I'm going to have some guys to draft with back there and maybe hope for a caution. So, there's really no reason for anyone in this front group to be getting into a second lane, trying to battle with the leaders. This is right where you want to be, middle of the race, to set you up for a great finish.
Well, the nice thing about it too, if you're this front group, you're feeling fairly comfortable with who you're racing around, and it looks like they got, a couple guys that you're, comfortable with. You got Kyle Diaz up there, and Robert Roth, teammates for Gone Wrong Racing. Aeons has a couple guys up there, so everybody's going to be coming down pit lane now. 24 is flying.
You might notice the pit lane here at Atlanta is a little different. You actually have to enter down off the track in turn 3, but there is no speed limit until you get all the way around right here to that yellow cone. So you can push as hard as you want to gamble there in 3 and 4, down on the apron.
Michael York getting a little pump there from Chapman.
Yeah, and just like that, pit strategy coming into play. Most of the guys in that front pack were on the no stop on that last caution. So now Michael York, Andrew Chapman, and Rob Mooney are leading this now front pack. They are only 25 laps into their fuel run.
Well, it looks like a fuel run is about 50 laps.
I think it was 46 exactly, I believe, is what.
So
but that had a caution or two in there too.
Yeah, so.
I got my crew chief notepad out. I'm ready to tell you what it is.
So the problem is going to be for these guys right here. They're sitting on having to come down somewhere before lap 100. Whereas now the drivers that just pitted, they can stretch it just a little bit. They should be good on one more stop to the end of the race.
Yeah, I think you're right. It might be close, but I do think they can make it on just one more stop if they stretch it as far as they can, and we don't catch any green-white checkers or anything like that. But also, those cars that can make it on one more stop, they're trapped a lap down here. If a caution were to come out, they're going to have to stay out, get that wave around, and potentially be on older tires for a restart. So it's a pros and cons on both sides, Mike.
Yeah. So it seemed like they're pretty well lined up here, but just as I was thinking that, verdict goes to the bottom and Mooney's left up top.
Yeah, like we've been saying, it certainly seems faster if you can get in line, but if that guy in front of you gets tight and slides up, there's no reason to lift and slow the whole line down just to keep him in front of you.
Go see if we can find the drivers that just pitted. Stan Carnathan and Tristan Bailey.
Yeah, it looks like this group didn't come out of the pits at exactly the same time. They're really broken up.
Now you got Stan Carnathan, Tristan Bailey, then Kyle Diaz is back here in this other group, but he's got Kane Lee, Hendry, Robert Roth, Osborne. So, I mean, if they can get focused here, they should be able to catch the two in front of them fairly quickly. I mean, they have a 5.5 second lead, but that seems to be shrinking fairly quickly.
And I'm looking at the pit road times and pit stop times. They're not, hugely different, but Bailey and Carnathan about a 0.5 second to 0.6 of a second shorter on their pit stops. If I had to guess, a friend of mine in my league gave me this tip that on a green flag pit stop, cleaning your windshield will cost you about 0.4 of a second. And that you should always try to uncheck that. I'm wondering if that's what Carnathan and Bailey did to kind of come out in front of Diaz in the second group.
Well, looking at the pit lane times and all of that, the pit stops aren't that much different, but I wonder if it's more the time that they gained, because we saw how fast Carnathan was coming into the pits. If that was the main difference, that pit entry was a little bit quicker.
Yeah, I think you're right. We saw how hard he took it in there and slid the tires coming to that speed cone. Looks like it paid off, although just 2 cars by themselves, I'm not sure how fast they'll be compared to this pack.
Looks like Aaron Miller up there blinking a little bit there. But there's Kyle Diaz, and now we'll jump to where Tristan Bailey and Carnathan are. They're just coming down the backstretch. And then, yeah. It's getting a little closer. It was almost 6 seconds. Now it's under 5.
Yeah, really interesting twist. If you told me, pre-race that we would be racing in 3 or 4 distinct packs, like half a lap apart, I wouldn't have believed you.
And the green flag pit stops always throw a wrench into everything.
Yeah, I'm glad everybody remembered to practice it. I know that's one of the things I almost always forget to do. Practice, especially with that tricky pit road entry here at Atlanta. The commitment cone there on the backstretch just as you enter turn 3.
Back happening towards this backpack here. Everybody's kind of single filed out a lot better than they were previously. Looking on. We have Anthony Liddy, Michael Carter. Last part of this group here. So this group should be thinking about coming to pit lane any time now. They all last pitted on lap 51 or 52.
Yeah, this is one of those times you want to get on the radio and coordinate with everyone else in your group. You don't want to catch anyone off guard and have them drive through you as you try to slow down. You also don't want to be the only car that doesn't know you're pitting this lap and get stranded outside the draft.
Yeah, now you can hear everybody clicking up on the radio, trying to decide when they're going to come down pit lane. You definitely want to come down with at least one other car.
We'll see who's going to be the master of pit road entry in this group.
Jump on board here with Michael York. Let's see how.
Yeah, you got to be careful. I believe if you get outside that white line, that would be a unsafe pit entry.
Well, everybody checking up there hard, too.
Seems like they stayed together pretty well. You know, these guys that are kind of off strategy, a 2-tire stop isn't out of the question. It looks like our leader is now the 84 of Jonathan Cogswell. And looking at his pit road time on his last stop, I think that's exactly what he did.
Yeah, it might have been just a fuel-only stop, too. You know, just get fuel in it and roll through and see what happens.
He comes
Kent
in.
Mueller flying through.
Yeah, and like I said, you got to be careful with that white line. I'm not sure if that's going to be a penalty or not. He had both tires up over it.
That is going to cycle. More likely than not, Stan Carnathan to the lead.
Yeah, I think that group led by Kyle Diaz is now under 3 seconds behind Bailey. They're not those first 2 cars you see. I think those cars are a lap down, but that next group behind them.
Just under 3 seconds behind the leaders. And there is a couple lap cars in between them. But of the top 10 drivers, over half of them have been at least 9 spots higher than where they started.
Yeah, definitely a handful of drivers here clearly comfortable at Atlanta. Maybe had this one circled on their calendar for a while.
And there they go through the quad oval again. Just slightly differencing lines there. And almost had an issue there.
Yeah, I think they're maybe getting a little too friendly with the pushes. Saw a couple drivers getting loose. Now 2.5 seconds between Bailey and Diaz.
And they've got Pete Walsh and Sam Batwell between them. Batwell's trying to stay with Walsh there.
And those two battling for the lucky dog right now.
Oh. Yeah, Kent Mueller must have had a penalty on that stop because he spent 55 seconds in his box.
Yeah, that's the gamble you take. You enter that turn 3 commitment line. You don't quite know how far your car is going to slide when you try to turn. There's almost no banking down there. He's certainly hoping for a caution to get back caught up. We've got the 84 Cogswell. What's interesting is he was able to pit without going a lap down. We saw just about everybody else lose a whole lap when they came in, so that's a win by itself, even if you aren't all the way caught up to the leaders.
And right now, the pack he's in is gaining on the leaders. I mean, not quickly or anything, but it's gaining. So, I mean, he's still 14 and a half seconds back, but going in the right direction here.
You're right. This pack of 3, almost half a second faster than our leaders.
Well, it's like we've been saying, if you can get lined up with 3-4 guys, you can go pretty quick around here at Atlanta.
Yeah, especially if you find some friends that push the way you like to be pushed and know how to get a little bit of air on their nose to keep from overheating. And it really is an art to getting a good pack push going. Everybody's got to kind of be on the same page strategy-wise of how you want to push, where you want to push, so that nobody gets loose and loses any speed, but you can push people down the straights.
That's one thing I'm noticing too about this group. Let's go. Looking back from Cogswell here, he's got Adam Boughton back here, and they're staying. They touch here a little bit, but even through the corner, they stay almost in a perfect line. They give each other a little bit more room, and then on the backstretch, they start pushing again. But they don't get completely out of line.
And again, a half second faster than the leaders, 6 7/10 of a second faster than some of the other folks in the top 15. If everybody keeps driving just like they are now, that group will eventually catch the leaders in about 30 laps. Heard some, call it squabbling on the radio here from this group. Diaz trying to tell the guys behind him how he wants the pushes to come. A couple other drivers criticizing the pushes, and like we were saying, you got to be friends. You got to be on the same page to really make it work the best.
Yeah, you can just see how hooked up Kyle Diaz and Kane Lee are. And then they kind of all fan out. If they were able to stay in line, I think they'd be a little bit faster through the corner. But they almost make up for it for the pushes they're getting down the backstretch here.
Well, they're actually losing ground now to Bailey and Carnathan out front. At one point they were down to 2.5 seconds. Now it's almost 4.
Everybody got out of line. Dude. They just decided that, hey, we're just going to go everywhere.
Again, just another surprise. If you had told me before the race that the 2-car packs and the 3-car packs would be fastest, I just wouldn't have seen that coming.
Yeah, it's crazy what that does on, especially here at Atlanta. You wouldn't really see that on like a Daytona or anything like that, but here at Atlanta it seems to work better than you would expect, it being a super speedway type track.
Yeah, definitely not something we would have seen since the tandem draft days. As the 85. Oh, and a whole slew of cars caught up in this one. Boutwell, Roth, Robert Roth, to be specific. We got a couple of Roths in the field. Yeah, it looked like the 85 maybe was the beginning. He got turned. Robert Roth not happy with that one on the radio.
See if we can take a look, see why he's not happy. Down on the inside.
Ooh. Yeah, they were, looked like they were both going for the same spot there, and just couldn't make it fit.
From Batwell here. Like the 15 was down below the line there, and he saw it.
Osborne just squeezing through.
Oof.
That's going to bring everybody to pit road. .48 to go. I'll tell you what, I think if you pit here and top off on the next lap and save just a little bit here under caution, you might be able to make it all the way.
Yeah, it'll be close.
We see the 59 still on pit road with some repairs.
He was not happy. Ooh. Our Nathan pulling a little strategy here.
Yeah, like I said, if you top off, you're in a pretty good position. Looks like nobody else agrees with me. Who's that back there? Michael York also coming down to top off.
Like Ryan McCall.
Yeah, this is, and again, that weird pit road entry makes it a little harder to play that pit strategy chess match you'd usually see where, you know, you try to follow the leader to see if he's going to dive down at the last second. Here, that it's 10 seconds before you even get to pit road. You've got to make that decision. Can't really play any games with it. It's going to be 46 to go at the line. Everyone getting lined up.
Yeah, so a little different strategy here. Some trying to see if they can make it. To the end here on fuel. I mean, track position seems to be king here as the pace car makes that left-hand turn down pit lane. Tristan Bailey is going to lead them through the Geico restart zone. And he is down and away. Kane Lee giving him a pretty good shove there. Kyle Diaz on the outside.
Diaz tucks in there on the bottom line in third. Yeah, you're right. We've seen track position be what matters most all night long. But the one difference on this run is going to be these guys at the front might need to save some fuel. At least, one lap more than those guys who topped off. And they might be able to push a little bit harder right when they need it. See the 15 of Bradley Rivers there running a New York Mets scheme. Ooh, a couple cars kissing the wall.
Yeah, trying to get more speed, and I think we see that more after they get those fresh tires. I'll call it as almost want to try and get that better drive off to, early anyway, get that momentum built up on that high line.
Yeah, that lap around, Carnathan ran his fastest lap of the race and the fastest lap on the track. He is coming there on the outside line, just behind, looks like Justin Henry in the 85.
Yeah, Justin Henry is the driver that Roth was not happy with. Bradley Rivers going to go to the front, slide down in front of Kyle Diaz.
Oh, no. I think that was the 85 and the 24 getting together. Everybody keeps it straight.
Everybody's keeping it straight. Looks like down on the bottom, everybody's still good. Single filed out quite a bit now, though.
Definitely not what you wanted to see. If you're the 24, you're charging to the front. And you've got a lap better fuel strategy.
Well, that's
really
going
to slow it down.
That's one of the things that is always, I'll say, problematic, is if you're running up front and you try this fuel strategy or something to that effect and you wind up back in the pack and you haven't been racing around them, you don't know, how they're racing back there, it can always throw a wrench into your plans too.
Of course. Yeah, but those checkups have started to separate it into two packs once again. If you're in the back pack, there's not much you can do other than try to get to the front. Some of your friends that you know are good pushers and see if you can start making up some ground. Feel like that's what the 51 and 24 are trying to do right now. We saw the 90 car was also a great pusher for them.
That just spread out everybody, and everybody went back to single file racing.
Christopher Roth now up to P3. This is one of those cars been just kind of quietly making their way to the front all night long.
Yeah, so the top five. Got a little connection issue there. So the top five: Bradley Rivers plus 23, Kyle Diaz plus 1, Christopher Roth plus 17, plus 12 for Kane Lee, plus 22 for Andrew Chapman. That's the top five.
Yeah, they're in the position at the right time. Most likely no more pit stops if we stay green. As Chapman jumps to the outside. And just like that, Carnathan and Furtick are there back with the leaders. Like we said, if you can get together with some friends and start pushing the way you like, that's where you find the speed. Chapman jumps up to say, hey, that line looks fast. I'll take that. And they trade lanes. Carnathan down to the bottom. Chapman's going to follow him. Try to stay in front of whoever's got the momentum.
Yeah, Carnathan. Carnathan's up there with Aeon's Motor Clubs, those Chapman. So teammates working together here.
Yeah, if you're the 51, you're going like, hey guys, what? I thought we were working really well together. Where'd you go? They left him up top. Now he's going to get down to that inside lane and look inside of Rivers. Ooh. I think he backed out of it.
Just enough to slide down. This Rivers kind of... There are a few drivers that are going to have to come down and pit before the finish here. Not going to have an option to try and stay out. But he's back there hard on the radio.
Yeah, at this point in the race, you know, all the patience you had when you started, it's gone. You see somebody doing something you don't think is helping you win the race, you're going to let them know about it. We stay mostly single file all the way back to the 81 and 95 here. Osborne and Ludi. Tristan Bailey, this car we've seen running up front all day long, didn't seem like he was able to follow Carnathan back to the front. Those two have been working pretty well together.
Yeah, it looked like he kind of got stuck in that bottom lane and just couldn't get up in time, and by the time he was able to work his way to that high side, they were already gone.
Definitely a moment like this is where having teammates with you really pays off, as we saw Chapman get a little tight and move up the track. Carnathan gave him a break, let him right back down, helping keep the rest of the field behind him.
Just a little ways here. Got Roth and Cogswell now side by side. Kyle Diaz running 8th.
Yeah, this kind of toward the back of this front pack is like you're starting to get desperate. You know that if you're not in the top 10,
Ooh, into
you
the
know
wall.
it's to go. It's gonna be hard to get up there. Oh, the 85's going around.
Well, that's almost perfect timing for a caution flag if everybody comes down pit lane. See if anybody's going to gamble and try and stay out there.
Yeah, this is one you can kind of go either way. Ooh. We saw a similar incident earlier in the race where when you get in the wall, you kind of have to yank the wheel to get the car off of it, and that can get you sideways, and if there's somebody right there on your bumper, there's not really anywhere for them to go. Yeah, it looks like everyone so far is pitting. Christopher Roth staying out. Cogswell staying out. Other than that, they're going to be coming down. Now, we haven't really seen fresh tires give anyone speed, but it has given them security on the handling. So I don't think this is necessarily the dagger for Cogswell or Roth if they can stay up front.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's going to be, I would imagine it's going to be a net positive day for Cogswell and Roth. And we're going to be 23, 24 to go at the most.
Yeah, and at this point, as long as you were saving fuel under this caution, you should be fine to make it to the end. We are now 25 to go here in the Jimmy Granger Ford 251. I'm starting to get a little hungry myself. I wonder if Rapid Fire Pizza would deliver 3 or 4 states over.
At least you're close enough where, you know, it's remotely possible. Nobody comes up here. So what, 20? Oh, so it looks like Carnathan and Furtick might have only taken right sides in the fuel. So a little bit different strategies abound here.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not sure the tires are going to give you any speed. They're just going to give you a little more security when you need to make aggressive moves. As we're green again. Cogswell in the lead, gets a really nice jump. But here at Atlanta, that might not work out. He needs to back up, get back with the draft so they don't come blowing by him.
Oh. Roth went to turn down to get in that bottom lane, and Furtick was right there. Cogswell playing a little defense there. Chapman and Carnathan were trying to go by. And Cogswell's almost like a sitting duck. Everybody's going around right now.
Yeah, I think that was... He just got too far out in front. Didn't have any momentum once they got stacked up, and it looks like now he found somewhere to be. Again, it's good to have friends when you're at the front. Doesn't have to be a teammate, but hopefully you can find someone to work with you.
Yeah, Carnathan and Chapman hooked up, and everybody's going to be going to have to figure out what they can do to run them now. 22 to go now.
And it really looks like the gloves are off now. We're seeing door banging, fenders banging, almost every turn. It's time to go. Looks like Cogswell settled into 5th, but Tristan Bailey right behind him looks to be poking his nose in. Right there, he's going to look inside.
Inside.
Oh, Cogswell throws a block.
Forces him down below that red line. He has to kind of back out just a little bit here. But Bailey and Rivers, if they can stay together, they might have something in that outside lane as they both go up there.
Yeah, Bailey, I think, getting tired of riding behind Cogswell. McCall jumps up with him. They lost a bit of momentum doing that, but maybe once they get together, they can make up some ground to the top 3.
Shuffling all around. 15. Bradley Rivers goes inside, outside, into the wall.
Ooh.
And we are under caution once again here.
Yeah, I was really hoping we wouldn't see another rapid fire pizza yellow flag tonight. We were setting up for a great finish there. Just like last time. Now you can come down, you can get some tires, you make some repairs, or you can stay out, try to keep that track position. As we see.
Oh, he is.
Yeah, it really was like an accordion effect, like you said earlier. Cars banging into each other's rear bumper. Started with Chapman and came all the way back. 15. Let's see. I think the good hands move there was the 62 of Roth. Got door slammed, went down on the apron, and somehow came back up on the banking in the middle of the turn and didn't hit anyone and didn't wreck himself. Really impressive.
Even 3 wide there for a little bit.
We see Kane Lee, Michael York, Justin Henry, Doug Denise, Bradley Rivers, Tyler Burden, Anthony Ludi, Kent Mueller, all on pit road. 13 cars staying out. So we have 17 laps to go.
Yeah, 17 laps to go. We saw Nathan and Chapman try and basically control both lanes, and that's what led to the checkup there and that accordion effect coming through that quad oval that brought out the caution.
Yeah, I know the race started at 2 in the afternoon, but it looks like the sun's already setting. Must have had some accelerated time here in Atlanta. Been such an interesting race, you know. We had 3 different single file packs. We've had wrecks through the quad oval. We've had pit strategy bringing people to the front. Pit strategy that didn't pay off. Now with It'll be 15 laps to go when we come back to green. There are 19 cars still on the lead lap.
So coming down the backstretch and be taking the green with 15 to go. And last week's winner sitting on that outside row. See if he can go back to back here. As much as I would hate to see a Yankees car in the victory lane.
Well, you got 3 rapid-fire pizza cars in the top 6, so you got a 50-50 shot there. As green flag is back out. Stan Carnathan leads them down the front stretch and into turn 1.
Cogswell pulls down in front of Tristan Bailey. And Furtick tries to get in front of Cogswell. Single filed out.
We'll see what Bailey does this time. We saw him really kind of anxious to get around Cogswell on that last run. So really single filed out at the front.
Everybody's single filed out.
Those front 2 are glued together. Really fast.
Absolutely nothing between them. Cogswell gets shuffled out to the outside. Now we have drivers moving to that outside lane. Ooh.
Like Bailey was peeking inside. Might have gotten forced down under the line and backed out of it.
Bailey is desperate for some racing room here down on the inside. He just can't quite get his nose all the way in there to make that pass. That back group is getting fanned out all over the quad oval here.
Yeah, with 11 laps to go, the further back you are, the sooner you need to start making moves to get to the front.
Like we have Michael Carter, Kane Lee, and Kyle Diaz in that high line. 5 of Michael York pulled up there as well. And they are moving towards the front. They can stay lined up.
Ooh, York was a little loose there, and Bailey's going to jump up in front of him. Now that outside lane has some momentum, could be the place to be.
A little loose there for York, all over the rear bumper there of Bailey, but Bailey is getting a little bit faster here with every push from Michael York.
They're making ground every turn. That inside line has a big gap there back behind Cogswell. It could hurt them.
Yeah, if that outside line could stay together, looked like York lost the handle of it just a little bit coming through the quad oval, but they are still moving in the right direction. Kyle Diaz is trying to hang on to the back of this group as well. Bailey going for the lead.
Now the question's going to be, is he enjoying those pushes from Michael York enough to stick with him, or is he going to jump down to that inside as soon as he gets clear?
I don't know. I've seen York slide in and out of Bailey's rear view mirror, so depends on if I feel a little bit more comfortable with Carnathan giving me a push or York.
Ooh, everybody pushing hard. We see cars getting squirrely. Seven laps to go, 6 to go at the line. You're not going to lift now.
Both
as they
down
both get
in
clear.
Front.
Michael Carter now leading the outside lane, about 4 car lengths back from the leader. It just seems like they lost all the momentum without York and Bailey.
Well, we've seen it happen a few times. Once the leaders in that outside lane got up in front and slid down, that outside line just lost everything and had to go back and regroup once again. Dwayne Furtick pulls out to the high side, going to try and see if he can help him. Kyle Diaz follows him up as well. 4 to go now.
The 81 of Osborne has been very meticulously picking and choosing where he makes moves, and he is kind of coming back into the picture as well, right behind McCall.
Trying to see where he wants to be. You see these drivers get spread out all over this quad oval. And I think that's kind of what's slowing down that outside line a little bit, as Tristan Bailey with Michael York and Stan Carnathan are hooked up pretty close together, running almost the same identical lines as looked like Andrew Chapman. Yeah, he went to the high side to kind of slow that line down a little bit, it looks like. Two to go. Popsicle sticks in the air.
Oh,
and
no.
Bailey gets turned for Michael York, going to come back up on the track, and we are under caution.
Oh, my. Oh, man. Oh, they're still making contact back there. The 9 in the lead. I'll have to see what happened there. It was maybe just a rough bump.
So you remember what we were saying about whether or not you like the bumps you were getting?
Yeah, man. I mean, you live by them and die by them, right? They got you to the lead.
Just see sawing right across the bumper
Ooh.
and turns him.
Yeah, it looks like
He
it was
on the brakes too.
The 24 was pushing York as well, and they both kind of synced up their bump momentum, and it was a little too much for the rear tires on Bailey's car.
Let's see here. Yeah, just a little touch.
Oof. A handful of drivers were down on the apron to avoid that. That could be the winning move of this race.
Different. These guys are the pack behind it. That's gonna make the finish of the race a little bit more interesting here.
Man, I'm not sure how you can get more interesting than that. Oh, what a bummer, though. All those guys at the front had worked their way up, made it through the strategy.
84 might be okay. Cogswell there. Oh, 85 definitely was not, as he went right through the 18.
Osborne up to second. The Savannah Banana 06 Tyler Burden on the inside lane behind York. Robert Roth in fourth. Ainley and Andrew Chapman in that third row. Ryan McCall and Cogswell in the fourth row. All those drivers, I think, are within reach of this win if they can get their momentum right, get a good push, and make the right move.
I'll say it definitely threw a wrench into some of the strategies. Sometimes it's just a matter of where you're at. We'll see how much damage Andrew Chapman has. Michael York in the Geico restart zone, and we are green flag racing once again.
Oh, Osborne goes a little wide. Kane Lee going to jump in there behind Burden. Just 2 laps to go. Just a lap and a half now. You've got to start making moves to put yourself out front. Lee going to push Burden as hard as he can. So those three get a little bit of separation.
So
Ryan McCall.
So as of now, it's down to 5. 5 drivers can win. White flag in the air down the backstretch for the final time.
Somebody's going to jump out and make a move. Who's it going to be? Burden with Lee pushing. Michael York able to stay in front. Oh! Michael York takes it home. Kane Lee almost up to second, but it's going to be Tyler Burden who got across the line ahead of him. What a finish.
I'll say that was Tyler Burden saying, hey, Michael York, you need to win this one. Because he was all over that rear bumper. Didn't really pull out until it was almost too late to do anything.
Yeah, I don't know if he ever had the lane to go up and pass him, but he certainly had the opportunity to wreck him and chose not to. You know, we talked a lot about some of these MLB schemes. We didn't really take a close look at Michael York. It looks like he has a rapid-fired pizza version of the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Budweiser MLB scheme from way back.
It has the All-Star game on it, yeah.
That was a nicely done tribute.
Burning it down there. Get our third place driver up here in the booth.
Ainley, this is Shane and Mike in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, what's going on, man?
Holy cow, what a finish.
Yeah.
We just take us through your race. It looks like we like most of the drivers, you were up and down and then making pit strategy calls here and there and able to be in position at the end to get a podium. How did you end up there?
Yeah, so I thought the whole fuel cycle thing was going to work out for the group that I was pitting with, because we only needed one more stop and we was going to make it, and then caution started coming out. And then there at the end, we ran like 10 laps and it was a caution, so I wanted to put on some tires because the car was starting to get pretty tight, kind of quick. But on that last restart, I didn't have any help. The front two and the two behind me were all teammates. I wasn't expecting too much, but I was going to give it what I had. It was fun.
Yeah, certainly nothing wrong with being on the podium in P3. A great finish for you. Congratulations. And is there anybody you want to say thank you to, send some shout outs to?
Yeah, just shout out to my teammates, Justin, Dwayne, and Gary. They're great teammates. Shout out to you guys for broadcasting, and thank you.
Yeah, congrats again, and good luck next week.
All right, thank you, sir.
Hey, Tyler, Mike up in the booth, man. How's it going?
It's going.
Well, that was a heck of a finish there. You were looked like you were pretty much committed to helping York to the finish line. Walk us through the last little bit of that race there.
Yeah, honestly, I'm surprised that the car is as clean as what it is, because there's being collected in a few things that didn't need to be collected in, but no, they're close to the end. I asked the guys how much damage I had, and they're like, it actually looks clean. I hit pit road. They said it was like 5 seconds of damage, and I'm like, okay, I don't know how I got ping pong, but we'll take it. And then we were committed to just running behind John, and then that whole calamity happened, and me and John avoided it. And we just kind of set a plan, all three of us. The idea was that, excuse me, we were trying to get John with us, but I guess he didn't get going well enough. So I just stuck with York, because that's all I really could do. Coming to the end, I'd be lying if I didn't say I thought about it, but I wanted to make sure that York got it, and me to protect second place as well as possible, because it's still a good points day. I'll take that. I'll take second where I started and where I finished.
Yeah, definitely was a heck of a race there. Congrats on your second place finish. Anybody else you want to thank before we get you out here tonight?
Yeah, I want to thank Dr. Dutch, all the Eon guys. Make sure everyone out there check out humanities101.com. And if you can, donate. They've got fidget toys. They've got T-shirts that have what do they call it? Fidget toys built into them. they're called fidgetees. They what else is there? There's just a lot of good information about you know disabilities and neurodivergence and autism. There's a lot of good stuff there, and I wanna give a shout out to Chris, because he painted this scheme. I actually had to work all week. I could have worked today, but I decided against it so that way I could run this, and I guess it was a good thing I did. But yeah, I asked him if he could make this Savannah banana car, and it actually came out pretty good. And I've been getting a lot of comments about it. There's been a lot of people saying they like it.
Yeah, definitely. The banana ball is a lot of fun to watch. So, once again, congrats, and we'll talk to you next week, maybe.
All right, thanks, guys.
We'll get you a race winner in the booth.
Michael, this is Shane in the booth. You got a copy?
I do. What's up, man?
Hot dog, what a finish. First off, love the paint scheme. Little throwback to the Dale Jr. scheme, if I'm not mistaken. Love that one.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And then, look, obviously we saw you pushing Bailey so well on the outside line, got you guys to the front, and then some of the pushes went wrong there. It looked like, it wasn't the 25 was behind you pushing, you're pushing Bailey. And then that kind of sets you up to be in position for the finish we just saw. Walk us through your night. Tell us how you got there.
Yeah, man. I feel bad. Like half of me is like, pretty pumped up, but at the same time, like I know I just took out a teammate. I don't even know if it was my fault. I was told by multiple people that it was just bumping gone wrong. I got pushed into him. I don't know. I feel bad about that, and I know a lot of people got a collector up in it. So like, it's like half of me, is real happy, and the other half's not happy at all, just because that's not, I don't like watching that on TV, and I don't like doing it. So I don't know. It's a mix of emotions, just really was trying to take care of the car all night, and I kind of was on different strategies there at the beginning, and I don't know. I'm just, I don't know. It's different. It's a different kind of win.
It is. I will say from up in the booth, certainly looked like it was multiple pushes kind of coming together at the same time that made that happen from our perspective. But hey, you led 29 laps. You had the fastest lap of the race as well, and you ended up in P1. So I wouldn't feel too bad.
Well, I know like I said, I needed a really good race, and the points and all the bonus points, that definitely helps. It's just one of those things, man. Like I'm one of those guys that I try not to preach about being clean, and when things, I know it's just a bump draft gone wrong, but at the same time, when it takes out your teammates, it's a different kind of feeling. I'm not a big, I don't know. It's hard to be. It's hard. I mean, it's hard to celebrate something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we were saying in the booth all night, having teammates or at least friends here at Atlanta would help pay off. There on the final laps, we got Tyler on your bumper. There was a couple moments where I thought, oh no, he's gonna dive in there and wreck them both, and he did, and he kind of helped you get there a little bit. So, I think teammates are a blessing.
Oh yeah, that's that's the thing about it. Like I took out some teammates, and then teammates reshuffled, from where they were up to the front, took advantage of the opportunity, So, I mean, hats off to Tyler. He for sure could have made a move on me. We probably could have had a 3-wide finish there, if it all would have played out right. I know that's probably what Kane was looking for too. I wouldn't have been mad at it, but shout out to Tyler. Thanks for pushing me to the win there. And, all my teammates back home at Ions Motorsports. I mean, it sucks, what happened beforehand, but hopefully we can just keep this momentum up and keep pushing forward and make a run for the playoffs. I got to get there first. I got a lot of ground to make up.
Well, yeah, congratulations again on the win here at the Jimmy Granger Ford 251. What are you going to have for him next week at Nashville?
Nope. No, I hope a top 10, man. Super speedways are kind of my thing. A lot of it's luck. So we'll see. It's going to be a lot of. I know how it is to save tires. So whoever can, have the best tire management is going to be the one to probably win that race. So looking forward to it, man.
Yeah, so are we. Well, good luck out there, and congrats again on the win.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it, and thank you for broadcasting the race. I know a lot of you guys take time out of your nights to do this, so we appreciate you for doing that. And shout out to ECR, all the admins. They do a good job, and all my teammates.
Yes, sir. All right, we'll let you get back to celebrating. Have a good night.
Thanks, man.
All right. That will do it for the interviews. Let's see if we can go ahead and bring up the race results. Michael York, Tyler Burden, Kane Lee are the top three. Brian McCall, John Osborne, Robert Roth, Andrew Chapman, Bradley Rivers, Pete Walsh, and Rob Mooney round out that top 10. And you got Doug Denise, Jonathan Cogswell, Sam Batwell, Kyle Diaz, Christopher Roth, Stan Carnathan, Dwayne Furtick, and Anthony Ludi back there in 18th position. Justin Hendry, Tristan Bailey, top 20 after the late race incident. Michael Carter, Adam Boughton, Aaron Miller, Kent Mueller, Aaron Spear, Matthew Crago Jr., and Gary Nash wrap up the field here tonight. Well, we'll put this in the rearview mirror, and as you said, we will head to Nashville. Not that the tracks are going to get any easier after that, because we have Nashville, and then Iowa, then a week off, and then we go to I'll call it the little bit harder tracks: Talladega, Bristol, and the Red Bull Ring. So,
Sounds fun.
definitely a lot of different tracks there in that next little segment we have. So, but anything you want to say before we close it out here tonight, Shane?
No, I just want to say, this was a great race to watch. I was excited to be in the booth here for ECR, and I hope Michael York doesn't feel too bad. I'm not sure that was his fault, what happened to Bailey there, and hopefully those teammates can celebrate together.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that assessment. But from all the drivers of the ECR Next Gen League and all of us here at Sim Racing Media, I want to wish you guys a good night, and we'll see you next week at Nashville.